Hello, welcome back to the channel of nonsense and a quick first ride on the 2025 Ducati Multistrada V2S. So this has changed a lot for this year. It's basically a new bike, got new engine, completely updated frame and chassis components. This S model, the electronic suspension, that's been tweaked to give some anti-dive properties, and you can reduce the preload so it lowers when you stop. We're talking about 116 horsepower from a V2 engine that no longer has Desmo valves or cam belts. So this is a new era of Ducati. I haven't got long, so I'm just going to do what I think a Multistrada should always be able to do. Hoon. So let's go on some of my favourite back roads in dynamic mode and sport mode, and to see if we have some fun. Oh, it is lower than where I stopped. There we go. So, lots of new switchgear. It's all a bit confusing to start with, but it's all super chunky and makes sense. The menus are logical, which is nice. There is a slightly hidden button by my right index finger for the suspension mode, and if I just tap that, it's not the easiest to get to, it's there. Then you can choose your suspension between dynamic comfort and low grip. That's great, and if you hold that button when you stop, the bike sinks down. But anyway, that's boring, that's sensible. Let's put the screen up and let's just let's send it. That engine, it might not have Desmo valves, but it still honks like a proper Ducati engine. So the Multistrada engine that used to be in this bike is gone, the old 937cc that used to be in the Hypermotard Super Sport, and this has been replaced with this new engine, which is, as I've said, 890cc, and I have to tell you, it still feels like a Ducati. I was a little bit worried that I was going to get on it and it would feel like a, you know, a parallel twin. Dirty word, I know, but it doesn't. It's got instant punch, especially in dynamic throttle mode, and it's still got an addictive sound through the airbox that's probably not going to come across on YouTube. So yeah, got up and down quick shifter blipper going on. But actually, do you know what, I'm not sure it's the engine that is making itself felt, because the handling's a lot sharper as well. It does just feel more stable. The old one, it was agile, it responded very quickly with light steering, but it never gave me loads of confidence on the side of the tyre. It always felt a little bit wallowy. I think that's all gone. Well done, Ducati. I think you've added some sportiness to what was already a reasonably sporty bike. Blimey. So peak power is now at nearly 11,000 RPM, whereas the previous one was like 9,000. It still lets you do childish things. Okay, yeah, like getting on the gas leant over on a bumpy bit of road. The old one used to get a little bit shaky, like it was tying itself in knots. This one, you feel the front going light, but it still tracks true, letting you ride it a bit harder. Yeah, that's a big improvement. That is a vast improvement as a package. Yeah, initial impressions are, this gives you loads more confidence when you're hooning it than the old one did. Engine performances, it's a bit punchier, but I think that's because this bike weighs a lot less than before. Ducati's claiming something like 18 kilos less than the old Multistrada Multistrada V2. I know MCN has done some maths, because the way they weighed the old bike and the new bike are different. I think the new one is weighed dry or something like that, but anyway, they've calculated the real world difference to be about 8 kilos, which, let's be honest, is still a ton. It takes me years to lose 8 kilos. Really good quick shifter, really crisp. The brakes are Brembo monoblocks, and they are just as good as you need them to be. They are, well, they're astonishing. And in terms of tyres, we're on Pirelli Scorpion Trails, so they're basically road tyres that are designed to look a little bit adventure-y. I don't think many people are going to be taking their Multistrada V2s on serious off-roading. This is a bike that's really going to be doing gravel trails at the most extreme, really. These are always at their best on road. Round this corner, how does it feel? The change of direction. Oh, delicious. The seat, I haven't got much room to move forward and backwards. That was always a Multistrada trait. My bum is hitting the pillion seat quite early on, but it's a nice support when you're accelerating. It just means you can't move back or forwards very much if you like to sit further back in the seat. Mirrors do get a little bit blurry, about 5,000 RPM, but I've just done some motorway miles and they weren't a problem at dual carriageway speeds and top gear. But there is definitely a spot in the revs where they do descend into an abstract picture of what's behind you. Interesting. Right, look, third gear, 20 miles an hour. It pulls cleanly. It doesn't pull hard at the bottom of the revs, but it doesn't lug and lump like old school Ducati V-twins do. Very modern, but not entirely civilized. There's still a little bit of gentle popping on the overrun, which I'm very surprised about. I guess that's probably programmed in for character, but it's nice that it's there all the same. But anyway, let's talk menus. You press this middle nipple here to get into the menus, and then you have to go straight into My Ride, which is annoying. There's two presses, and that's how you get to your heated grips, which are an option on this bike, and your riding info and trips and things like that. I'll take second gear for this little corner here. Otherwise, there's a mode button up here which lets you switch between sport, wet, touring, I think it's an urban one as well, and enduro. And then when you're at a standstill, you can customize each of those modes really easily through the screen. So you can change the ABS parameters, the throttle map, and all that kind of stuff per mode. So if you like to have your urban mode as ABS off, everything switched off, you can probably do that. I'm not sure about mapping ABS off to a thing, but let's go and have some more fun on it. I'm going to put the suspension in its comfort mode now to see what difference that makes. So you can still keep it in sport mode, but okay, instantly losing a bit of pitter patter through my buttocks there, technical term. Right, national speed limits, comfort mode. A little bit more squat there. A little bit of TC intervention as well. That was over a little join in the road. It can carry some serious speed. I need to be a bit careful on this. I'm going to end up going faster than I anticipated. Now, slow down so you can hear me. One thing I've already noticed about this bike is it has one of the best screens on any adventure bike that's currently on the market. In its highest position, I'm really comfortable and actually being shielded from the wind. I'm 6'3", and normally the top of my head takes an absolute pounding from wind, or just gets horribly buffeted by screens. But no, this has got a hole in it. They've done the aerodynamics. That works really well for 6'3" me. The turn-in is steady. It's not super flighty. You have to push a little bit harder than you might think to get it tipped in, but it's just quite neutral and quite stable. I quite like that. Often on a wide barred adventure bike, if the steering is too light, it feels unstable. This doesn't. This feels like it could do fast corners at big speeds, perhaps in Germany, for legality's sake, without getting too wobbly. Oh, look at that. Yes, Morgan. Got the roof up though. It's 30 degrees, man. Okay, a little word on the old Multistrada V2. I've reviewed that bike, I think, a few times on the channel, and I think I was always possibly a bit more effusive about it than my long-term thoughts about it were. I liked it when I first rode it, found it quite entertaining, and then my friend had one. He had a couple actually, and I always rode them, and they always just left me feeling a bit flat. The engine, for some reason, that Testastretta engine in the old Multi V2, it made a good noise. It honked through the airbox at you like some kind of Italian duck, but it didn't really give me the fizz, and it didn't feel explosive like a Ducati should. And I always thought, maybe it's just the engine, but it wasn't, because I had that engine in my Hyper Motard, obviously a lighter bike and a sportier state of tune, but it was just way better in that, and it was better in the Super Sport as well. They were much more interesting applications of the engine, but this This feels way feistier, way sportier, and harder revving. I need to try all of your bikes with this engine immediately, Ducati. I keep wanting to change up, and I've still got 3,000 RPM left. That's a good sign, I think. It is way revvier than before. Okay. Sensible walk around time. I should try and collate my thoughts into something more human. So yes, it could do some very unsensible riding, which is great. That's what I've always loved about Multistradas, is that they feel sportier than their rivals. But in terms of the sensible stuff, one of these costs £14,000 now, but that doesn't get you this S model. This is £16,400. That gives you the electronic suspension and cruise control. And if you want to spend even more, get panniers, because that will add about £1,000 to it to get the travel pack. And then, if you want the cool military khaki green paint scheme, it costs £400 more than the red. So it can get close to kind of 18 grand if you're not careful. The seat height as standard is between 830 and 850 mil. You can adjust it up or down. And this is what it looks like with me on it. I am tall though, I'm 6'3", and I fit on it really quite nicely. I'm trying to push it uphill to get a better angle. There we go, that was unflattering and grunty. But yeah, you really kind of sit down in it. Now there are lower and higher alternative seats as well, so there's a real range of seat heights on this. But what I would say is, compared to the old one, it is so much slimmer. It's got way more heft in its gut. I wish I could say the same about me, but it's just really narrow. It reminds me of the back of my old 1198 tank, this. It's narrower around the engine as well. And I have to say, even just sitting here at standstill, it does feel lighter than the old one. It's not often you get on a new version of an old bike and notice the weight difference, even though it's been years since you rode it. But yeah, it's still got a lot of plastic up here. But I'm going to grab the camera now and show you all of it. All of it? Most of it. You got assaulted by a butterfly. What's Italian for butterfly? It's not papillon or schmetterling, is it? I think it looks way sharper than it used to. It's got more of the V4 Multistrada look about it now with this snout and daytime running lights. I like the kind of red and black. It just looks really cool. And you've got these little enclosed winglets down there as well. Then you've got Brembo monoblocks. There's the new engine, which, yeah, looks like a Ducati V twin. It doesn't look too much different. Stubby exhausts. And you've got the built-in pannier mounting points there. Sorry, my head's creating a massive shadow. But that's what I was talking about. Look how narrow that looks. Down there, in between your legs, and these Ducati badges. Oh, stickers, which is a bit naff. But hey, still got Multistrada on the clamp there. Now, I did touch on this briefly in the riding bit of the video, but this is, yeah, a big chonky switchgear. It's actually quite easy to use. I'm finding it easy to find the indicators. You've got your cruise control functions, sorry, shadow. You've got your cruise control functions up there, a mode button and your headlight flasher. And on this side, this is probably the most annoying button, is the suspension adjustment button. That's what you've got to hold when you come to a stop if you want to drop the suspension by. It's only about 8 mil, I think, but getting that is quite a stretch when you're there or when you're on the brakes. You have to kind of do slightly unnatural hand movement. So I'm not a big fan of that. It has got a key though. It's not keyless. It's got a normal fuel tank, and the dashboard is just dead easy to use. Basically, you press the middle button to go into menus, and then you can go into My Ride and see all of your kind of range and stuff like that. Your consumption and your trips, your heated grips. I'm a poet, and don't I know it? And obviously you can connect it to your phone to do all manner of music-y stuff, and presumably turn by turn as well. If you press the suspension button, that's where you get to choose between dynamic, comfort and low grip, and you can also adjust the preload between rider and pillion, or with luggage as well. You've got a fuel gauge on there, as you would hope, so that is a pretty blooming good dashboard. It's not massive, it's not like a GS one, and it's a little bit shiny and reflective in the sunlight, but it's pretty good. Screen, one-handed adjustment, down and up, and that feels really solid as well. So yeah, I like it. Fit and finish, typical Ducati. It's very good. So to sum up quickly, this is a pretty big step on from the old one. I think Ducati has fixed the slightly wallowy handling that the old Multi V2 had, and it had the performance and the brakes to get you into loads of fast corners really quite fast, but it never really gave me oodles of confidence once I was there. And this one just feels, well, it feels more agile and it feels more stable. They've ticked both boxes somehow, and they made both things happen. Yeah, it's more expensive, but then everything is more expensive now. And I know in this video it's a quick ride, I'm not going to be able to comment on its long distance comfort and things like that, but the old one was no slouch in that department, so I don't imagine this will suddenly be unbearable after a 200, 300, 400 mile day. It's just when you get to your destination, this comes alive and will put a smile on your face. Once you've done the big miles, you'll be able to attack some twisty corners and really enjoy one of the best Ducatis of recent times. And that new engine is also a big part of that. It revs harder, it's punchier, it still makes a great noise. For all the people who had their doubts about that, I know when it was announced the Panigale V2, people were slightly up in arms. And I will ride that bike at some point, but it's a great engine. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, please hit like, subscribe to the channel for more bike stuff. Go down to the comments and just tell me how wrong I am. I'll see you next time.